The Russian news is becoming the most honest.
I think we've got our guest here on the show. Are we? Hello,
If
sir.
if I figured out all this, all the technical requirements, I think I'm here.
I like your pullover there. What is that?
Appreciate it. Oh, it's, Nike clearance.
Oh, now you're in Louisville, Kentucky. Is that correct?
Louisville, Kentucky.
Now I want to pronounce your name correctly. Can you pronounce it for us?
Sure. Aaron Yarmuth.
Aaron Yarmuth. Now, Aaron, you've been on the news recently because you rescinded an award for a comedian, Amiri King.
Sure. Yeah. No, that was not really how I was trying to make news, but we don't get to choose those those instances anymore.
What's the reaction been like amongst your readers?
Well, the readers have actually been fairly quiet, or at least more reserved, more thoughtful in some of their responses. We got the bulk of our responses came from Amiri's followers or people who picked up on the story from outside of the community. We listened to those or read those as much as we did our local readers, or people we assume are readers, and tried to treat them as we would anything else. But in the end, those were sort of the big, locally anyway, we haven't heard a whole lot of some of the same language we've heard.
Enthusiasm, maybe. Are you a Hillary guy?
Well, begrudgingly, I'm a Hillary guy. However, about over a year ago, I actually wrote a column sort of analyzing the Democratic primary state. And one of the more fortunate things I came up with was, or have done, was say early on that Hillary was not my candidate, and actually that I wasn't even a Bernie bro. So it at least, I think, insulated me to at least be critical without automatically becoming a Hillary, blind follower.
But isn't it very blind followery to rescind an award from someone just because they're a Trump supporter?
Well, yeah, and this is something that happened in the build-up to the story picking up the pace that it did. We actually didn't rescind it because he is a Trump supporter. I had actually never heard his name or forgotten I'd heard his name until the Sunday night before the Monday that we made this decision. It hadn't, so I didn't really know anything about him. And that's one line that I've wanted to draw in making sure that, I'm not going to call him a racist, even though some of the things that he has posted are racially, some would say offensive, some would say
funny. I'd say funny.
Right.
Racially funny.
Yes, right. And that's something that is a gray line, that gray area that we will not begrudge anybody for picking sides on. The Trump, I think that there was a Trump post that led my editor to bring it to my attention that there were some people encouraging us to respond one way or the other. And we weren't really happy with the options available to us because we had already announced him the week before.
Well, so you announced him because the people liked him, right? This is starting to smell like the media and the people having separate views and the media wanting to control what the popular vote is. Is this what we're going to see in the election?
Right. Well, the other thing that we led with was that I've acknowledged and apologized for the flaws in our system. And one of the, it's kind of a sick, funny thing, but Amiri actually received votes in literally every single category that we had an award for, including, best yoga studio, best bourbon list. So the system was already flawed and gamed to some degree. Now, that being said, that's not why he did receive the most votes for best comedian. That was not the ultimate reason for making a decision. The system was flawed, so we definitely feel that there is some room for, I guess, interpreting that this is not necessarily the will of our readers as a scientific sort of poll would suggest.
Okay, what do you think of this joke? A black guy, a Chinaman, and a Jew walk into an Irish bar. And the Irish bartender looks at them and he goes, "What the fuck are you guys doing here? Get out of here."
I'd say it was more like last weekend for me, but than a joke. But that's that actually does bring up an interesting point, though, in that.
Wait, you just made a racist joke.
So that was a self-deprecating joke / assessment. But
I don't know. Someone better take this guy's award away.
Are Jews allowed to make Jew jokes? Amiri King seems like a racial name. He should be allowed to make ethnic jokes. What kind of name is Amiri?
Oh, it's a name he gave himself. His name's Anthony, actually. It's Anthony Short, but he's entitled to a stage name. That's perfectly fine.
I understand, but don't you feel like when there's someone gets an award and then there's any kind of controversy to sort of backpedal, don't you feel like that's kind of playing nigger pool?
I'm not sure I understand that reference. I'm not familiar with the show, but maybe if you can explain it in another way, I might be able to better answer that.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm using a racially charged term to do a thing and a thing and a thing. But, what clearly is going on here is you saw controversy and you chickened out.
No, sort of like any news outlet has an obligation to its brand and its supporters. It's the people who
the supporters voted for King.
Not necessarily the supporters of Leo, and we don't know that, and that's why I acknowledged up front.
No, you acknowledged it because you saw controversy and you pussied out.
No, if he has made some things that are objectively obscene. They are not. They're
like
there's no such thing.
Name one.
Well, there's in one video, and I forgot what the name is. I want to say it was snowflakes, but it was something in response to Trump's bus video. He continued to explain how women talk or men talk about women. And I don't know if you all have heard of a book called The Lie, Chad Culkin. It's something that I bought and read years ago. There are absolutely, unquestionably funny parts to the book. There are also points in it in which you're looking over your shoulder saying, "My God, I hope nobody sees me reading this, because this is truly obscene." And that's okay, because that's a book that is purchasable. But what he has done is, and he has every right to do it, and we will not, just because we will not create a platform or allow him our platform doesn't mean that he can't continue on his. We're not asking for anybody to protest him. We're just saying that we are not going to associate ourselves or give him a platform.
But you can't give me a specific example. Now we're talking about a book as an analogy. What sentence did he say that forced you to pull back this award?
Well, there wasn't one sentence. As obscenity goes, it is a body of work, and his body of work is unquestionably obscene. Now, parts of it, I'm sure, are funny and entertaining. There was a moment about 1 minute and 45 into that video that I'm referencing, which was obscene, and it wasn't comedy. It was grotesque, and it's just not something that we can continue to associate ourselves with.
You are totally full of shit. If this was a rapper, you would totally have ignored that obscene thing. If it was a liberal, you would have totally ignored that obscene thing. But you feel this need to placate these people who don't want to be placated. I guess it's women or your parents or something. And it's obscene to us as readers to see someone try to control public opinion. But more importantly for you, you're not going to get pussy with this kind of behavior. I know it makes your mommy feel good to see you in your little Nike zip-ups, but if you want to get out there and actually insert your penis into a vagina, you've got to stop being such a fucking cuck.
Well, there are some mixed metaphors there. I will say that my girlfriend can speak to that.
Your girlfriend deserves an award.
Can I take her award away?
No bones about that. As for the rest of it, it's one of those things that I'm not gonna.
All right, Aaron. Apology accepted. Bye. That was wonderful.
Oh my God! What a hilarious! He was like that was like the autistic moment of being a cuck, where you just go, "You're a cuck and a bitch, and you'll never get laid." And he goes, "Well, there's a lot to what you said there." And so, like, what type of reaction?